Good afternoon. I want to thank you for joining us here in Suffolk County, here in the town of Babylon, with our host here, the town of Babylon Supervisor Rich Schaefer, and thank him for the great job that he's been doing here in the town of Babylon. And his team, him and the great team, our Department of Public Works, Tom Say, the Commissioner, and these are the operators out here, have been doing a tremendous job. Thank you guys for your great work. Our Deputy Supervisor, Tony Martinez, Councilwoman Jackie Gordon, Councilman Lindsey Henry, Councilman Tom Donnelly, the entire team here. Thank you very much, guys. I want to thank the Commissioner of Fire and Rescue and Emergency Services, Joe Williams, who's here, and our Assistant Deputy County Executive for Public Safety, Tim Sini, as well as all of our Department of Public Works officials here in Suffolk County. Most importantly, I want to say a big thank you to Governor Cuomo for being here once again in Suffolk County and for his leadership again in another extreme weather event here in Suffolk County and here in our region. And I can say quite simply, the cavalry is on its way. Thanks to the governor and thanks to his leadership. We are still dealing with a real storm here in Suffolk County. There are parts of the county where snow is still falling right now, and while many parts of the region may feel like they've dodged a bullet, that was not the case here in Suffolk County. We were hit by it, and we were hit hard. More than 1.5 feet to more than 2 feet of snow in significant parts of our county. And what we saw last night, we saw a drop in 911 calls. We saw fewer accidents, less than a handful of accidents here in Suffolk County. And in my mind, there is no doubt that that is directly attributable to the governor's decisive action in implementing a travel ban, which allowed all of our operators, our DPW employees out there who face very treacherous conditions to be out there operating those plows, clearing the roads without having to deal with car accidents and cars on the roadways. And, you know, we were just traveling on the LIE and stopping to help 3 different motorists. One was a New York City police officer coming home from a late shift, a nurse coming home from Huntington Hospital, stuck on the roadways. Which is why we're continuing to tell people to stay off those roads. But we haven't had to deal with that, and we've been able to make such progress because of that travel ban. And if you look at where we are today from where we were 2 years ago, when we had hundreds of motorists stranded here in Suffolk County, it is night and day. And again, that is directly attributable to the leadership and the decisiveness we saw from the governor. You know, we've talked about historic storms here in Suffolk County the last few years. I think last night what we saw and today was an historic response from the governor, from our first responders, our DPW crews, and the public. And I want to say a thank you to the public for heeding the call of the governor and all of us as local officials out here to stay off the roads and allow us to do our work. This is still a tremendous storm. A huge amount of snow still has to be removed from our roadways. When you're talking about more than 2 feet of snow, that's one of the largest storms that we've ever seen in this region. So there's a lot more work to be done, but I am grateful that the governor is here, as he has been time and time again. He called me earlier this morning as it became clear other parts of the region were hit less than predicted. And said, whatever you need, we're prepared to assist the county and to bring whatever resources we need. And once again, the governor has delivered, and I want to bring him and thank him on behalf of all the residents of Suffolk County for his leadership, for his support, and for his efforts in bringing the cavalry. Governor, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. First to Steve Bologna, your county executive, who's been extraordinary, really extraordinary, not only through this, but it's the extraordinary leadership that we've come to expect from him. Let's give him a big round of applause. And same thing with Rich Schaefer. You know, we have a great team between Steve Bologna and Rich Schaefer, and he's a professional. He's in public service for all the right reasons, and he's done a great job. Pleasure to be with you. This is one of those bad news, good news situations. The good news is the entire region was not hit as hard as we were expecting. This was a big region that we were looking to be impacted, 13 counties. So it goes from Albany south to New York City and then all of Long Island. And as a region, it wasn't as bad as had been predicted or had been projected. That's the good news. The bad news is Suffolk took it right on the chin. And there's still an imprecision to these forecasts. But it was right on when it came to Suffolk County. Unfortunately, Suffolk, in these storms, it seems more and more is getting hit the hardest. As the storm literally turns the corner to go north, it hits the tip of Long Island very, very hard. So there is a significant challenge in Suffolk County. There is 2 feet of snow, is a lot of snow, any way you slice it. And the team has been doing a great job, but it is still a massive undertaking. And as the county executive said, we want you to know that the cavalry is on its way. What we are doing is redeploying all the assets that we had in the Mid-Hudson and New York City, and we're moving them all to Suffolk County. So there will literally be about 500 pieces of equipment that are coming: snow plows, dump trucks, front-end loaders. There are 100 National Guard who are on their way here. And the National Guard, I can't begin to tell you how extraordinary they are. They're really, they have been great time and time again. So the National Guard are on their way, and they're bringing special equipment that will help with the snow removal. So we'll have the resources here. We'll have them fairly shortly. That doesn't mean the snow is all going to disappear in a matter of minutes. There's a lot of work to do, and there's days of work to do before things return to normal. We've lifted the travel ban. That doesn't mean people should rush outside. The roads are still difficult, especially a lot of the side roads. If you don't have to be driving around, you shouldn't be driving around. One of the reasons why we try to keep people off the roads is their own safety, and also so the people who are with me here today can do their job. You can't plow the roads. If there's one car that gets stuck on a road, that entire road gets shut down because you can't plow it because of the stuck car. So keeping people in their homes keeps them safe and allows the emergency responders to do what they have to do. Last point is, I want to applaud the first responders who literally, these people worked all night long under very difficult circumstances to do a fantastic job in removing a lot of snow. I want to thank the residents of Suffolk County who were smart and who were considerate and who were community-oriented and stayed off the roads, which made a tremendous difference. The reason why the main roads are clear this morning is because the plows could actually do their work. There is no doubt in my mind. As the county executive mentioned, we've seen it both ways. We've seen snowstorms where the roads were left open and people continued to come out. We were warning them all day long about the snow. They got in their cars, they came out, they got on the LIE, and they were stranded on the LIE, and we had a really dangerous situation. So we've seen it done that way, and we've seen it done this way, which had a traffic ban at 11 o'clock. By the way, 11 o'clock, I don't know how many people are driving around in a blizzard after 11 o'clock anyway. But we had the traffic ban. People stayed in their homes. They listened, and we've only had literally a small handful of minor accidents in the entire region last night. And knock wood, no loss of life, and that's what's important at the end of the day. So I want to thank the people of Suffolk County for their help and cooperation. And I want you to know I am so proud of New Yorkers and so proud to be a New Yorker, because, you know, they talk about New Yorkers and how tough New Yorkers can be. And that may be true. But when there is a New Yorker in need, there is no group of people that comes together like the people of New York. Like a family that sometimes we can argue amongst ourselves, but when somebody needs help, we're all there for each other. We have equipment literally coming down from all across upstate New York. You have plow operators who are driving 8-10 hours just to get here to be helpful. And that's a beautiful statement. They don't have to. You can't pay them enough to do it. But they know that Suffolk County needs help, and they want you to know that they're on their way, just the way Suffolk has been there for them many times before. And that's what it's all about. Everyone helping each other and working together, one state, one family. That's what New York is all about. So be smart today. If you don't have to be on the road, stay home. Shovel the snow, be careful about that. And let the emergency workers do their job, but we'll be on top of it. We're doing everything we can, and then some, a little patience, and we'll be through it. And be safe. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Any questions? We didn't, oh, sure, we didn't issue any in Suffolk County.
We issued one to Steve Ballone, but just because we wanted to.
That's not surprising to people who know me.
I don't know the precise number, but the compliance was very, very high. We did not have any significant problem with people violating the ban.
The public really did respond well, and, you know, to the governor's credit too, these very intentionally, warnings were being put out far in advance, the day before, letting people know, understanding what was coming and what could be coming down the road in terms of travel ban, and people, the public really responded to it, and as a result, this really was an historic response, I felt, to this storm. In Suffolk County, the top priority remains clearing the roadways. Everything flows from there. If there were power outages, the emergency situations, you need the roads cleared in order to be able to do any of those things and respond to any of those things. So the priority remains getting that snow off the ground as quickly as possible, which is why we're so grateful to the governor to be reallocating those resources so quickly in the afterwards of the storm happening, because now that means we're going to be able to move that snow off the ground, off the roads quicker than we otherwise would have.
The National Weather Service meteorologist tweeted an apology
To the governor?
that he overestimated the storm. Governor, what do you say about that?
I'll tell you a funny story. We had a storm in Buffalo several weeks back, and the projection was for a snowstorm, but we had a much worse snowstorm than the prediction suggested. 7 feet of snow in Buffalo, okay? So when you look out the window and you think this is a lot of snow, imagine 7 feet of snow. And I made a comment that suggested that the weather projections were not accurate. I can't tell you the response of meteorologists all across this country who totally berated me for criticizing their forecast. So I'm not going to make that mistake again. But what happens is the National Weather Service makes the best projection that they can make. And we then all have the same projection. That's what you hear on the TV news, that's what you hear on the radio, that's what you read in the newspaper. Everybody has the same projection. And we make the best decisions we can based on those projections. Here, virtually every state made the same decisions. New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, we all made the same decisions. And sometimes the prediction turns out to be more or less accurate. And that is that's the nature of the beast. You know, it's still the weather, it's still imprecise, there are a lot of variables, and we understand that. And you make the best decision you can. And again, in this case, region-wide, the region was not hit as hard as the projection suggested, but Nassau County was. So that's sort of the way it goes.
So the governor accepts the apology.
Long way of saying it.
No, not at all. As the governor said, you know, the forecast when it came to Suffolk County was completely accurate. This was a major blizzard, similar to what we saw 2 years ago in 2013, but the response was completely different, and I think that had to do with the preparation and the leadership and the response of the public to that. So.
Is there an estimate on how much the storm cleanup will cost the state?
Yeah, we don't have an estimate, but it is going to be in the millions of dollars, I can tell you that. Just the movement of the equipment that we've had to do was quite extensive. I mean, you're literally moving thousands of pieces of equipment all across the state and shifting equipment. We'd bring equipment down from upstate New York, state equipment, and then the local governments would backfill the state equipment. So it was a very sophisticated operation statewide. It'll be in the millions of dollars, but look, from my point of view in a situation like this, the first question is public safety, loss of life. And again, knock wood, we don't believe that there was any loss of life. And that is a very big deal. And whatever it costs to achieve that goal, it was worth it. To just put an exclamation point in the county executive's comment, unfortunately, we've had a lot of experience in dealing with these weather emergencies over the past few years. Probably, I don't believe there's been a county executive or a governor who have had to deal with more emergencies in a shorter period of time. Maybe Mother Nature just doesn't like Steve and myself. I don't know what it is, but the flip side is you develop an experience, you develop a capacity, you develop an expertise, and I think the public also has learned because, again, we've seen it gone bad, and we know how dangerous that is. And I think that was part of this situation, that we've all been learning lessons over the past few years.
Yeah, we're asking people not to go on the roadways. If you do not have to be on the road, stay at home, stay with your family, and stay safe. There's still a ton of snow that needs to be removed out there. You know, again, that's why we're grateful to the governor bringing these resources to Suffolk County. There's a lot of work to be done over the next few days. And if you don't have to be out on the road, stay inside. It just makes the operation a lot easier. Our goal, all of us here, are to return people to normal as soon as possible. And the public's been very good at helping us with that, and we're just asking that they continue to do so.
Good deal. Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, guys.